Donald Trump just won the election. Bitcoin just hit an all-time high. And there are some massive new things that are happening. I mean, the markets just opened and everything is going absolutely crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to go ahead and press the like button on this video because you deserve a little round of applause from me. Here we go. Congratulations for sitting through all these hard times. Gary Gensler, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Gensler is going to be thrown out the freaking out. He's going to be freaking thrown out. Bitcoin $100,000 by Christmas is not at all anything slightly worrisome. It is almost coded in the super cycle, which we have been referring to for all these past months. Ladies and gentlemen, it is almost a certainty now that Trump is in office. I am not saying anything about his policies on any other front. Only on the front of the markets, which right now are reacting so positively to it because, well, can you really blame him, ladies and gentlemen? Can you really blame him? Them, I should say, right? Because we're talking about the markets here. Bitcoin going up, hitting $75,000. Almost every single altcoin in existence seeing a massive pump throughout the night, going absolutely crazy. And like I said, guys, if you've not pressed that like button yet, do so right now. And let me tell you about some crazy things. So first of all, like I said, Trump just won, right? He's the man that's going to be at the front of the US for the next 4 years. Then another thing, this is actually a little screenshot from late last night, or perhaps this morning, 7 a.m. GST. Here's the one I wanted to show you. Most of the market right now is looking quite green. JP Morgan even being up 10% here. Nvidia up 3, Microsoft up 2. Just generally speaking, quite a beautiful bullish green day, like any person looking at this would be able to note, because it's just crazy green here, right? Now, I'll tell you something else that's been quite green. And even though some of you guys might not fully know what this means, I'm gonna make it extremely easy for y'all to understand. So what I've got besides me right here is the Bitcoin ETF flow. You might look at these numbers and think, Dusty, yesterday we had some outflows for the Bitcoin ETF. And that is true because we had $116 million that went out. And the day before we had even $500 million going out. You wanna know, however, how much volume was generated in the first 20 minutes of trading today? For the BlackRock ETF alone, ladies and gentlemen, for the BlackRock ETF alone, in just 20 minutes of trading, we saw $1 billion worth of volume. And that's why I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this right here, Trump getting into office, has opened the floodgates to not only crazy inflows. I mean, there could be some outflows here and there, but more importantly, for all this new capital to enter into our ecosystem. But there's more, and this actually is something that many people forget. But it's happening within the next 24 hours or so, and it's going to be quite drastic on the markets. I mean, right now we are seeing some heavy volatility, sure. You got to understand, though, that this could definitely be made significantly greater by what I'm about to show you, which is this right here. So in about 26 hours or so from me recording this video, we're going to be getting ourselves the United States Fed press conference and, of course, the United States Federal Reserve interest rate decision. There is right now the expectation that the interest rate is going to go down from 5% to 4.75%. And it's quite strange how the markets will react because obviously, usually I'd say everything's priced in, but the fact that we had an election just the day before, right, makes everything quite difficult here because obviously eventually policy is going to change as well as now Trump is going to be coming in and the decision being made right now perhaps might not be as long-term or significant since there's going to be such a drastic shift in leadership. But to get back to it, ladies and gentlemen, as I said it earlier in the video, there were a few negative things that happened. For example, Senate, John Dean did not win. Sad, right? But it was fairly new. It wasn't like he's been running for all these years and we have a solid one already on board. Not a good one, but she's been anchored in. Now, I think if you give him another little while, maybe 4 years, he could definitely take place. Might be too late. I'm not sure how often the Senate switches, though. Is it the same with the election cycle? Again, don't ask me. Don't know, don't care. Not in the US. I can't vote, can't do anything. All I can do is cheer on from the sidelines. What I wanted to say, though, is that Gary Gensler now is most likely also out. And that means for all these crypto lawsuits, for the Ripple lawsuit, for the Kraken lawsuit, for the whatever lawsuit you want to name here, that is pretty positive. I don't even sometimes know what the Binance situation is anymore or what the Coinbase situation is anymore. We don't see updates that often on these pieces, but I do believe that with Trump coming in, I think he's going to give Coinbase a little run for their money in a positive way. And I think perhaps Chinese exchanges might not be as lucky. But companies like Ripple, which are fully US based, paying tax in the US, etc., I think that type of fintech company would be more important, more harbored, and thus I think a lot of the bad times are now officially over. Well, it's going to take some time, obviously, for Gary Gensler to get kicked out. Maybe still before he's officially out, he's going to do some crazy things, right? But it's now basically made official. He's going to be gone. 𝗓𝗏𝗓𝗏, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. The guy behind Silk Road, the famous crypto web marketplace, let's call it. He's also going to be freed officially if Trump is going to follow his words. And those are the type of things that Trump is going to make or lose points over in the crypto community. What's he going to do with these lawsuits? What's he going to do with Gary Gensler? What's he going to do with guys like Ross, who had some crypto crime, so to speak? And there's some other policies that are important, but those are mostly important for everybody. Crypto-wise, I'd say the parts I just said are quite important. How are they going to look at Tether? How are they going to stimulate crypto in the US? How are they going to control the CBDC? How are they going to go with that? About half an hour has passed since I was recording this video, by the way. Like, sometimes these videos take hours. Nobody knows. But man, the sentiment over on the socials is so extremely positive throughout the last few hours. I think because even though most people expected Trump to win, I think many were expecting some more of a landslide the opposite way, or a little fall from grace, fall from victory, whatever. It was just so smooth. And perhaps it's because I'm biased, I'm in an echo chamber, I'm in a bubble. But from as far as I've seen on Twitter, I think also perhaps since on Twitter, Trump was by far the most popular one. If we had seen it any other way, it would have been more surprising rather than the events that turned out. Regardless, be warned for tomorrow as we've got ourselves the Fed interest rate decision. Be warned for the crazy volatility that's going to happen over the next few days. I will warn you, Bitcoin just made a new all-time high. Sometimes Bitcoin goes on, increases dominance, takes some money from altcoins. Sometimes this is where the altcoins already start to rip. At the end of the day, I believe this is the start of the super cycle, but not the top. Then again, we can see a little rejection here at 75 point something, fall back down before ripping over the next 8 weeks, let's call it. In my opinion, there's no more belief that the bull market's not here. So I'm sold, I'm done, we're good. All the doubt has been washed away, right? All those doubts of 40K washed away, washed away, washed away. Wealthy before Christmas is the saying that I think is closest to our hearts right now. And more importantly, like I said, it's mostly a matter of, should we fully go into Bitcoin or mostly go into altcoins? That's the question now. Because generally speaking, this is still the time where Bitcoin is best, but this is because Bitcoin is usually setting off here. Quickly afterwards, altcoins become better though, but maybe this market, because we're quite matured already with, a half-assed altcoin season earlier in the year, perhaps they can actually start gaining quicker here. All I'll say is I'm ready for whatever they swing our way.